Hello and welcome to WhatCulture Wrestling. I'm Andrew Pollard, and today, as you can see, I'm joined by Thunder Rosa. Before we get into this, if you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff below, and also follow us all. Check it all out on the usual podcast outlets. Thunder Rosa, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I was just putting you over on Instagram, so.
Were you? Oh, it's cool. I'm put me over wherever you can. I'm cool with that.
You're on my story right now. Let's see. Where are you? I just uploaded you. So look at you. So cute right there.
I'll take it. If anybody wants to put me over anywhere, I will take it. Yeah. I'm all over that stuff. But yeah, thanks for giving us so much time to go speak to us. How are you doing at the moment in 2020? This crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just too much. I'm like, I don't know where to start. I'm supposed to be going to the post office and send like 100 packages, but I didn't even get started on that because I had to do some editing for my other business that I have, which is customs that I have, and I haven't turned them in. So it's just been a crazy weekend. My husband's birthday was yesterday, so I had to like make sure I spend time with my husband, and I make sure I actually had some time to sleep. So I'm kind of wild right now.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah. You are the current NWA World's Women's Champion and also the Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling International Princess Champion. And you've got I was just looking into it, you have this nut schedule right now. I think in the last 6 days you've wrestled 3 matches, is it? Because there's Priscilla Kelly and UWN.
No, I'm going to start from, let's see. It start November, this Friday. Dude, I don't even know. I wrestled so much in the last couple of days, I don't even know. So I started on September 18th. I had, September 12th, I had a match with Kimberly. And then after that, I had a match on the 18th with Lindsay Snow, a championship match. The 19th, I have costume matches, and I had a match for Title Match Network. That was 1, 2, 3. I had 4 matches that night. Then on Sunday, I didn't have anything. I rested. The 21st, the 22nd, I had a 30-minute match with Priscilla Kelly for primetime, defending my championship. So it was the second time that I defend my championship. Then we went on Dynamite the next day, no sleep whatsoever, for against the tag team holders in AEW, which Sheeta and I became victorious, of course. Then I wrestle on Saturday, championship versus championship for Jerry Lawler's 50th anniversary, which was so dope to see all those like old school wrestlers, and like a lot of them already know me from convention. So I was like, I gotta take a picture, like such a fan of, like, I just love talking to them and taking pictures with them. And then yesterday I came back home with a 2-hour sleep, and I had to try to be a mom and a wife and take care of my dog, and it's insane, man. I have this month is pretty much open, but I'm working on all the projects that I need to like get together again on my Facebook page because I've been neglecting it. I'm probably going to start Patreon. I'm putting my social media on overdrive, working on our show, Mission Pro Wrestling, for November 6th, because we have a big Tournament of Hell. It sounds like it was for Halloween, but we just kept the name. So we're going to see who's going to go to the finals for our next show, which is December 11th, which is going to be the Night of Champions. So we're going to have different champions from different promotions, female champions, defending their championship in our promotion. I think it's really exciting. It's like, we don't get to see that very often with women. So it's like so many things going on. And then today I'm going to see what bookings I have for the month and see what I'm going to be doing. So yeah.
It's nuts. The fact that you have to like check what you've been doing because you've been so busy. It's like, it's insane. But obviously you were busy before, I guess, the world closed down for a bit. But then you turned up on AEW. What's that done in terms of, I guess, like bookings, matches? Has that just made you even more busy, that more people are obviously seeing you on international TV?
I was already busy. I kept myself busy throughout the whole entire pandemic. I thought it was a great idea for me and for my brand to really work on other things that I didn't have a chance to do when I was wrestling and traveling, which is like YouTube, monetizing my YouTube, making sure that my social media was strong, because that's where we based our core income, merchandise sales. So we really worked on getting a website going. And honestly, that saved my ass. Like, we're having a website and having a place and where people can go get their stuff and like look at my other social medias have been a blessing. So the name was there. I was still like, people were still talking to about me because, I was like interacting with fans. Twitter started growing really fast. And then Sheeta did this thing and where she's saying that she has an open challenge. And then my husband thought it was a good idea just to like just throw it out there just because. And people start saying, yeah, bring Thunder Rosa, bring Thunder Rosa. And then all of a sudden they contacted me and they were like, hey, you want to be part of the show? And I'm just like, let me contact my people because I'm under the contract. So I didn't think it was going to happen. And it happened. And then honestly, like, it's just like, it blew. And I'm just like, oh, shit. My numbers have been incredibly crazy. We're almost at 100,000 followers on Instagram, which is a big deal because I can actually start asking for more sponsorships, partnerships, and stuff like that. For me, it's all about what wrestling is going to help me in my career in the future. How am I going to be able to make a living for my family when I'm not wrestling? So it has helped tremendously. Little girls have my fandom with little girls is growing. Like when we had a show on September 18th for Mission Pro Wrestling, we had so many young girls with their parents coming to the show. And you know how empowering that is when they come and they look up to you and say, I really want to play sports. I really want to do this. And you're such a strong, all this show like make me feel so good. From like 3-year-old to like 14, like it's so nice. And to me, that's success. That when you see that, even I'm not like in the big leagues yet, and I'm not signed in AEW. I'm still at NWA with the NWA family. But that means so much to me because it means that all this work that I've been doing, it's paying off. And girls, which is my target fans that I want, they're following me and their parents are looking at it and they're, becoming buyers of my brand, which is so amazing. And it just humbles me every time I'm at a show and they come to the table and they're just like, can we take a picture? And it's like so sweet.
It's, I guess you're like this, like almost like a real life superhero to some of these young girls, where they see you on their TV, they see you on YouTube or wherever, or in person, and obviously you stand out with the face paint and everything. You're this larger than life presence, the style that you bring to the ring. What was it like? I guess the very first time you saw somebody with the Thunder Rosa paint.
That was years ago, man. I was, it's just interesting because I was just thinking about that. One of my friends. Steve from the Bay Area, he has 2 daughters, and one of the little ones, I remember I came to San Francisco. I had a show in San Francisco a couple years ago, and his mom made a whole like outfit, Thunder Rosa outfit, and she like dressed up and put the face paint on. I was like, my God, that is so dope. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about another fan, which is now a friend of mine. Like her family became really good friends of mine. Her name is Chloe. So she's been following me since she's 8 years old. Now she's like 13, 14. She had a party. Like she brought all her friends and all her friends painted her face. I have a picture on my Facebook. And I sing a happy birthday for her in there. And she's been following me ever since. And now I saw her, I think a couple months ago, I went and actually stayed at her house and she's like full on teen. She still like says that she wants to be a wrestler. But just to see her grow and to see her that I was an influence on her on becoming more confident and becoming more of herself and just like, she makes art for me. And that's one of the things that I love when all the fans, they send me art, they give me art. That's like becoming an inspiration, a real inspiration for them. It's amazing. And just having that connection for so many years, it's even bigger than any money that anybody can pay me.
Yeah. So who was on the flip side of that then? Who was kind of the inspiration for you when you were growing up? I mean, were you a wrestling fan as a kid, or was it inspiration from other places? Or
brother, hell no. No, hell no. No, I wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher. One of my aunts, she was a teacher, and I always like how like she like interact with like preschoolers. And I used to go to her house, and she used to like make us do things and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. So I in my mind, I wanted to be teacher, nurse, something on that sort, and where like you help people. Wrestling didn't come to my life until I was older. I watch wrestling, but not like I will sit with my dad and let's watch AAA or let's watch CMLL. Wrestling was in my life because I used to watch soap operas, novelas. Right. Novelas in Mexico are huge. So I used to watch novelas from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. doing my homework. I will recite you like all the lyrics of all the entrance songs of all of them, because that's what I used to do. And a lot of the wrestlers used to do crossovers to novelas. So there was one, Dos Mujeres Un Camino. Conan used to be in that one. And I was like, I like Conan because of that. And he was like, he used to sing, he used to do stuff like that. So for me, like, people that used to do crossovers were the ones that caught my attention. Then I saw them on wrestling and I was like, oh shit, they're wrestlers? Oh, cool. Like, they do a bunch of all different stuff, right? So that's what happened. My first big show that I attended was when I was in college. My husband had a friend here in Houston and he had extra tickets for WrestleMania 25. And during that time, that's when I started watching wrestling on TV, which was mostly TNA, or the Impact Ladies, the Knockouts. That was the female wrestling that I used to watch, not WWE. And then I came here, and then I watched this big show, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I fell in love with Shawn Michaels and like the presence that he brought, him and Undertaker, because he didn't have to do much. It was just a storytelling. So that to me was more than any moves or anything like that. I'm very theatrical type of person. I used to love theater when I was in high school. I did it for a couple of years. And that's like my thing. I told you, I wanted to be too, in my wildest dreams, I want to be a soap opera actress, because, you know, they get a lot of money. They're famous. Everybody knew them. Like, Thalia was one of like my favorite ones, because she was also poor, always poor. And then she became rich because she married a rich guy. And then she was like super popular. She sang, she did a bunch of stuff. So that's like the type of people I see, like people that did crossover, like that's the people I look up to. But answering to your questions, I didn't look up anybody until I started doing like getting interested in becoming a wrestler. My husband introduced me to indie wrestling, and that's when I got like hooked. Like, I was like, this is super awesome. Like, we used to go to Hood Slam every first Friday of the month because we used to live in Oakland, and that was my escape, my escaparate. Like, no, it didn't matter what was going on in our lives. That Friday, it was like, we're going to yell, we're going to curse, we're going to have fun, and come back at 3 a.m. so tired and not being able to move the next day because we had so much fun. And that was what I was looking forward to until like he's like, I think you can be a wrestler. I was like, okay, cool. So I started looking at Sarah Stock, which is Dark Angel from CMLL, and she used to be a trainer in WWE. I really love her style. Like, there was something about her, again, that it was that drew me into her. And that one of the things was that she became a star in a country that wasn't hers. And it was like me. When I started wrestling, I'm Mexican born. I was born in Tijuana. And that it was like the similarities. Like, I want to be a star in a country where I was not born, but they like embrace me and they will love me. So that was like the thing that I look up to.
Yeah. Well, you talk about like the theatrical side of things and the storytelling. I think from people who watched the NWA when Power first started airing, and like, you were pretty much, I don't know, off the top of my head, I think you were the only person that had any sort of like entrance music. There was the kind of the drums, the thunder, and it's like instantly everybody's drawn in like, who's this girl? She must be special here. I think it was the second episode you made your debut there. How was it when you signed up to the NWA and you got just, it seemed like everybody kind of fell in love with this Thunder Rosa character, even though obviously you were a bit of a villain at the beginning, but just you were that one person with the music in this environment.
I honestly, man, I didn't think they were going to do that. They're just like, oh, we have a package video for you. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is dope. And then like everybody, oh my God, the drums are super cool. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I didn't think it was going to be as over as that. But I remember when I had that first match, after I did I came in and tried to get Marty in our team or with me. Rick and Morton, it was so funny because I'm doing the match and it was, we always had like 5-6 minute matches, right? But we had to make sure when we had these matches, we had to tell a story because it leaped into like the bigger one, right? So they always, Trevor Murdoch always stressed to me, make sure when you get in there, because Thunder Rosa, the one that it was from NWA, she's the hammer. Like, they always call me the hammer. You know, Melina was the one that tried to like influence everybody. Marty was like my little sister, and I'm the hammer. So if any job needed to be done, you're the one who's getting it done. So make sure, because people don't know this right now, that they understand that you're about here to fuck shit up. So I was like, I got you. This is good. You got me on this one. So So I just channel everything that I had, all the aggressiveness that I had. And I always brought that, even when I was in the indies at the beginning of my career, because that's what got me over in Japan. Not my wrestling abilities. It was my aggressiveness and like that eagerness to kill somebody. And I brought it and like put it like 150,000% into it. And people loved it. I mean, it's very interesting to see that there's not a lot of women that go so hard like that. And I'm not saying that I go and like I'm stiff and I want to kill people. No, it's just like the aggressiveness, the amount of aggressiveness that you get in there. I think that's one of the reasons why Asuka is so, when she started, she was so over, because her style is very strong style. She doesn't hurt people. She's just like, she's there to like tear the shit up. The same with Shayna Baszler, you know, she's the same way. You know, there's very far and few that are of that style. Like you're either very strong and you come and like, you know, you squash people, or like me, I'm like short. I'm 5'3", I'm 130 pounds. I'm not a big monster, but you're gonna fight. I'm not there to fight.
Yeah, you're a badass. Like I guess, like an Asuka, like a Shayna Baszler, who it is. I think it's something it makes them stand out from the pack when they're just so not brutal, but just aggressive, and everything looks believable, and everything looks like, yeah, these ladies are the real deal. But so, I mean, just throwing it off the top there, I guess those two women in particular, would they be somebody you'd like to tangle with at some point, somehow down the road?
Yes, because I've seen Shane. I saw her in the Indies, and I met her when before she became like huge, you know. And I have so much respect with her because she started another business that is just as hard as this one, which is, you know, MMA, and she's a great fighter, you know, and she has her head over her shoulders, which I respect. And I met Asuka in Japan. It was like so funny because like I just knew about her a little bit because one of my friends, she was like a big fan, and we're in the elevator, and I was like, oh, that's kind of oh shit, you know. And the fact that she challenged the status quo. That's another thing that I respect about women that are women's wrestlers, that they challenge the status quo. She challenged the senpai, what is it, senpai status. Like she wanted girls to like move forward and like that, to be allowed to wrestle, you know. And and in Japan is very veteran and then, you know, rookie, like that's it, and you respect that. And she challenged that, and she wrote an essay about it, and people didn't want to work with her, you know. And she, a lot of the time, she was having like intergender matches because people don't want to work with her. So that's the type of women wrestler that I respect and I look up to, because we are trailblazers and we challenge the mentality of what wrestling should look like, or what women in the business should do, you know. And then she came to WWE and the stories changed. But I see more than what they do in the ring. That's one thing. I'd like to see what they have done in other places, you know, because that's where I'm like, okay, I can relate with her, you know, I can do this. Because myself, I'm a very progressive. Melissa Cervantes is very progressive. Like I'm all about, you know, empowering other people that have been segregated for years, that, you know, don't have the opportunity to be in top positions, but you know, empowering them and helping them to get to the next level. And that's me. I want to get to the next level because I'm a foreign-born wrestler. I don't have the attributes that your status quo looks for. I mean, I don't have blonde hair. I don't have blonde eyes. I don't have big tits. I have an accent. I'm a lot older than a lot of my peers, but I have worked really hard to get where I am and to do what I do. And that's what I tell my peers. I tell my other female wrestlers that is very important, that you got to hustle, that you got to be respectful, that you have to be humble, that it doesn't matter how many obstacles you have, you can get where you want to be, but you just have to be patient.
Yeah, and you are legitimately one of the most talked about wrestlers in the world right now. You're one of the well, I guess, is it right to class you as a free agent? I know you said you're contracted to NWA.
I am not currently. I'm not a free agent. I am with NWA. I mean, I've been blessed that because I started my own business, like I said, Mission Pro Wrestling is a business. It's my project that I have with my husband and my best friend, Jeremiah Wilkinson. And we are here to empower women. And I'm not talking just about having them wrestle in the ring. It's like giving them knowledge to become their own business owners. Being a wrestler, and because you talk to many of them, we're our own business. But how do you get to the next level where you don't have to have a regular job in order to make ends meet, even during a pandemic, which was the thing that broke a lot of people, and people quit wrestling because they didn't have things established for them, or they didn't know what they could do in order to make a living. Even if they had to do, it's just like, it's a business mindset that I feel like a lot of my girls don't have yet. And it needs to be taught. And we don't get it. That is not being taught in wrestling schools. They teach you how to wrestle. They teach you how to do an armbar. They teach you how to do this, but they don't teach you the other stuff that within the years you can learn and implement in your own thing. Me traveling all over the world, I saw things in the business way. And we're like, oh, if I do this, this is where I can go. And this is how far I can go. Okay. Oh, if I do this, yada, yada, yada. I saw how men promoters use us for them to make money. Why not I use this to make money for my family and to give opportunities and jobs to girls that are local, in a way where they don't feel used or they don't feel sexualized, where we can empower each other. And it's like, you want to do it? Fine. Like I talk about in Jericho's podcast, I talk about custom matches, which a lot of the girls are like, oh man, I can't do custom matches because that's going to tarnish my career. Let me tell you something, girls, it's not going to tarnish your career at all. Women that are on top in WWE, they've done custom matches, which is fine. It's studio wrestling. We set our own limits. It's just like what we happened with the Speak Out movement. We have to set limits, and we have to tell people, no, do not talk to me like that. How you slide on my DMs last time, it was wrong. I'm sorry. I understand you talk and flirt, whatever, but that's not okay. Please do not text me that stuff. Please do not talk to me like that. And it's scary to talk like that. And it's scary to be like assertive about certain stuff because you want to have a job, you want to have an opportunity, but we can't do that. We need to educate ourselves and others that it is okay for us to do custom matches, to do other stuff, because it's bringing money to our table and it's allowing us to pay our rent and it's allowing us to go to the next show. Because sometimes the only way that you can get into a show if you do studio wrestling with a producer, so you can get into the show to do the thing that you love in front of other people. That is okay. It's not, you're not doing anything that is going to tarnish your career. You set your own limits, and it is okay to set your own limits. And here in Texas, with the girls that I work, I educate them like that. If it's like you don't want to be part of it, fine, it's fine, totally okay. That's but you can be a Mission Pro, and let's teach each other how to work in the ring, how to be respectful with each other, how to be professional wrestlers. So it's I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass now.
No, not at all, not at all. But what advice, I guess, would kind of Thunder Rosa in 2020, if you could go back in time to speak to Thunder Rosa, say 2014, 15, what advice would you give yourself about getting into the business?
To be more assertive, to be more confident, and to say, to be more assertive, in order for me to protect my brand, because I was, again, because of oh, that's my veteran and gotta follow what they do. People do, they like we say it is the lingo, they just want to get the shit in. They're not teaching you anything, and it's not about fighting. That is, sometimes you just give in. It's oh, you know what, I don't want to argue. No, it's I want to learn. I want you to teach me. You are somebody that I look up to you, And when you get into certain matches and you just feel like you didn't do nothing and just feel like you didn't learn anything, it breaks your heart. It's just it makes you want to quit, because you don't feel respected, So I will say that.
Yeah, and with your current situation now, where obviously you said you're contracted to the NWA, and I think as wrestling fans, it's great because so many wrestling fans, when Shida did that open challenge, it was well, Thunder Rosa would be perfect, but not every other wrestling company is open to their talents working elsewhere on a TV level. But what's the, how long are you able to have you been given the okay to work for AEW then, to appear on AEW TV?
I think that's they have a working, AEW and NWA have a working relationship. So I don't know. I mean, if they call me, they call me. If they don't, I gotta hustle.
Yeah.
I gotta keep my name uh, going and people talking about it, because that's how you get bookings. That's how you make money. That's how you sell merchandise. And again, it's just like my goal here, and whatever how I have left in the wrestling business, is to empower other women that are in the business and that are not in the business too, young girls, to be who they want to be and to be respected and feel respected.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, what's the latest you've heard on NWA? Because obviously the studio show's finished early this year, but there's been new content put out at the moment with, I guess, the Eli Drake show, Nick Aldis with his What's Causing All This, the Carneyland. And also, obviously, Nick Aldis fighting Mike Bennett a week or two back. That was promoted on there. Have you heard anything in terms of when there may be programming getting back up and running? So it's just the case of see how things are in the world on an ongoing basis?
No clue, man. I wish I knew. I have no clue. Just trying to be a fighting champion right here.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, well, you defend that title it's sensible from Billy Corgan's point of view, where okay, we can't run shows, but we can get our women's champion on international TV, looking like a badass, beating people up. So it makes sense. It totally makes sense. And speaking of people,
let me rephrase it. Not looking like a badass, baby. I am a badass. Okay.
Being a badass. Yeah. Well, on that front, on the badass, obviously you competed for Combate Americas last year in MMA. There we are. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that poster. Just everything all over the place. Yes. So what's the status with your MMA career? Is
I just actually talked to them, and they say that they're going to start running things again in February if everything goes well. So my focus in the next couple months will be to get back on my training, my MMA training, my consistent MMA training, because, man, I was just telling my son, it's like, I want to be so intimidating when I get in that cage that whoever gets in the cage with me, she's like, fuck, what did I do to get in this cage? I'm gonna get fucked up, because that's what I want to do. Like my first fight, I was very intimidated because it was my first one. This one, man, I have so much to prove to myself, not everybody else, but to myself. Because I want this fight to be like, I'm gonna throw punches. I'm gonna make you suffer. Like I know now, I've been training for a minute now, and I want to make you suffer, girl.
God help whoever is in the cage with you next. So it's coming back in February, and I take it you're fighting in February. Then has that been?
If everything goes well, yes. Again, wrestling is my full-time job, so I have to go this and do wrestling first, because that's what put food on my table. But I just want to get in the cage and punch somebody in the face, man, kick and take down, and like now not hold back. And I'm like, oh, you want to see what stiff really feels like? Okay, I got you, girl.
Yeah, I feel sorry for whoever that is going to be. Some questions that some fans sent in today earlier on Twitter. A user, Daft Vader, maybe a relation to Darth Vader, possibly. Just wanted to know, because obviously you're in Lucha Underground for, I guess, 3 seasons, would it be, from season 2?
Yes, I was. Season.
As Cobra Moon, which I did not realize at the time that was you, because obviously you were covered from head to toe, mask, the whole thing. Yeah, and Darth Vader wants to know, is there a chance we could ever see Cobra Moon again? And also, would you actually want to bring that character back if you could?
No, I do not want to bring it back, because it's not my character. But if they pay the right money, I'll do it. It's not my character. It's I got to go through, like, I think AAA or MGM. I don't know. But no, I do not want to bring it back.
How was the whole Lucha Underground experience? Because as a fan, it seemed to be, it was great because it was different. But then obviously you hear that after the season 4, the fact that so many people were contracted still and couldn't really work. So it seemed like, while as fans might love it, as a performer, it might not have been.
For me, it was a place that I needed to be, because it allowed me to grow as a performer, to grow as a wrestler, and to grow as an entertainer. I don't think if I would have had that, I would have had the experience that I have now. Yeah, there was a lot of negative things, and it went to craps at the end. But to me, in looking at a better perspective, it makes me who I am. It makes me really figure and like work on my character as Thunder Rosa. And it made me also realize that sometimes you have to make some sacrifices to get to the next level. Like I sacrificed Thunder Rosa to play Cobra Moon and had to get this character over that nobody knew about, and it was a challenge. And for me, that's the best thing that I can say. And working with all this amazing talent that were there, with all this incredible experience, who can say that when you've been in the wrestling business for a year and a half, that you got to work with Rey Mysterio, with the Guerreros, with Matt Cross, with Sexy Star, with Taya Valkyrie, with there's so many people to mention. I mean, all the wrestlers. Pentagon, Rey Phoenix, Drago, Aerostar, who's a sweetheart. I love him. Mascarita Sagrada, who was like somebody that I looked up to when I was little, because he was a little wrestler, and I love like midget wrestling and stuff. So I was like, oh my God, Mascarita. I marked out for Mascarita Sagrada. I was like such a fan girl. I was like, oh my God, Mascarita, I love you. I mean, all these people. I met all these people, and that experience got me into meeting people from the MMA business and meeting people from the entertainment business. So I was blessed. It was a blessing in disguise. And yeah, it was hard at the end when we couldn't get out of our contracts, but that's the business. We signed those contracts. Like now it's like making me realize I really do need to pay a lawyer to get my contract before I sign contracts. It's so important. So it was a learning experience for sure.
Yeah. On that note, I guess I have to ask, how long are you contracted with the NWA for at the moment?
For a minute.
For a minute. Okay, we'll swiftly move on. Another question that we had on Twitter, because obviously you paid homage, I guess, or paid your respects to Road Warrior Animal last week on Dynamite, which was such a sad loss for anyone who's even got a mild interest in the wrestling industry. They know who the Road Warriors are, the Legion of Doom. Larger Than Life doesn't do it justice for those two guys. But with the face paint, just in general, I mean, what was the inspiration in the first place for you to kind of don the paint and the way you do the paint?
Well, just exactly what happened with the Road Warrior. The Day of the Dead is we celebrate those who passed away in a happy way. When I put the face paint with the Road Warriors again, to pay homage, but also to remember how kind he was to me when I first met him. I just met him like 2 months ago. That's why I was like, holy crap, when he passed away in Dallas. And he spent probably like an hour and a half. We talk about Japan, because that was a big thing in his life, Japan and his tours and everything. And he was giving me advice about, how to become better on my merchandise with my stuff. Like he didn't have to do that at all. And he just talked to me, and then I asked him for a favor. I was like, hey, man, my friend is such a fan of yours. Do you have an 8x10? I'll play for him. He's like, no, I'll do it for you. So just stuff like that. Like, he didn't have to do that for me at all. And I know he's probably done it for so many other people, So for me, like the face paint, at first he came because he was given to me by a promoter. But then later on, we figured that it will have to be for us to pay homage to those who passed away, that were part of my life, or were part of my journey. And we continue to do that.
Yeah. Another question on Twitter from Joshua Charles Richard, who has kind of got a link between yourself and Darby Allin as having similar aesthetics to that. Yes. To that. Well, you've both got kind of similar styles on the face paint, I guess. So he just wants to know, Josh wants to know, have you exchanged tips and have you had conversations about advice for your face paints?
We do, because he asked me, do you do your face paint? I was like, yeah, I do my face paint. Sometimes like, makeup people, they do our face when we're in AEW, but usually he does his thing. And we were just talking about that. I was like, we're twinsy. I call him Twinsy. I don't think he likes that.
That guy's just nuts. The stuff you see him do, it's like,
no, it's like his wrestling style. My wrestling style has nothing to do with one another. I remember I saw him in Earl Lucha in Tennessee like 2 years ago, and he did that back bump.
The coffin drop. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, no. I'm good. I'm done wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm done wrestling.
It looks just like, I don't know how, just it looks like a nasty thing to hit, let alone take. It's like,
no, I'm good.
Crazy guy, yeah. Another question, I'm apologizing now in case I butcher this name. Yusugi Kenshin, I hope that's right. apologies if not. Just asking also on the Twitter, which ties into the styles, having wrestled around the world, what is the style that you kind of personally try and incorporate the most into your matches?
I always call it hybrid style. If you watch my matches don't look the same. There's a lot of performers that you already know what's happening. You already know what's coming. One of the things that I made a promise to myself is like, I do not want to look the same. I always want to look different depending on who I'm wrestling with. But it's hybrid. I really love the strong style. Again, because it brings more realism to our bout. And I love grappling and technical wrestling. That was one of the things that I always wanted to have in there. And when it's high flying, when I do lucha shows, I go lucha all the way. But mine, I will say it's Japanese and American style.
Yeah. And two quick questions just to wrap things up. Firstly, who's your favorite person to have locked up with so far? And secondly, who's the person that's kind of on your radar that you really want to get that match with at some point?
All right. It is really interesting because I think you have to have good dancing partners that bring the best out of you. I said the first one that it did that for me was Holidad. When we were not tag team partners, we beat the crap out of each other and go, yeah, bro, that was so awesome, man. And all the girls in the back like, oh my God, you guys were like hitting each other so hard. But when you like somebody, that's what happened. Then the other one that like brings, to mind is definitely Allison Kay. That's when like my style of wrestling, had to be pushed. Like she pushed me to my next level. And from there, it's just like she turned the knob and I'm not even able to turn it off. So Allison, and then I really love the Priscilla Kelly match, man. Like, because I think a lot of people, they see Priscilla as somebody that was just scandalous for what the gimmick that she did that time. And that's the only thing they see. But she is so talented, wrestling wise. Like we had this 30-minute match, which I'm telling you, they told me like 3 hours before we get into the ring that I had 30-minute match. And I was like, we're going to make match. We're going to make it happen. She's very technical. And I really do appreciate that. Her and Serena Deep is like, those are the ones that I'm like, bro, I can do anything, literally anything. I don't know. It's like this year, just from September to September, I had really good matches with people that another one, ODB. Have you seen that?
Yeah. A big fan of ODB.
Oh man, that one. Oh, we were giving it to each other. I was like, I have never seen ODB that aggressive in a long time. We were hurting. So
I always think she kind of goes under the radar with some people where I think she's criminally underrated, ODB. Every time I watch her, it's entertaining, but also, like you said, she can get a bit stiff, I guess, snug.
Yeah,
you would know.
It was a war. I remember when we were out there and we're like, we're going to die. And it's like, and it was great. Like, those are the ones that I can't, bring to mind. Who do I want to wrestle right now? Let's see. For some reason, I was just talking to my husband yesterday. I want to do blood sports with,
Josh Barnett. Yeah.
Really good. Sumi Sakai. I have not been able to wrestle Sumi in a long time, the way that I want to wrestle her. And I think Bloodsport will be perfect because she does MMA and she does jiu-jitsu, and we both have very similar styles. And like the 2 times that we worked together, we worked so well. I love Sumi, and I will love to wrestle Sumi Sakai.
Nice. I think a lot of people would like to see that. And obviously Bloodsport's a very unique location and venue, promotion to do that sort of fighting. So that ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of fans listening to this. But obviously your contract to the NWA, you appear in AEW, you're appearing everywhere across the world right now. Is there any sort of, I guess, itch to scratch with maybe WWE at some point? Because for so long that was the company, but now it's not so much the company. There's so many other great alternatives.
I always say this to everybody, even with the AEW situation right now. My goal is, if it's written on my book, on my life book, and it says WWE is going to contact you, it is going to happen. At this point right now, it's not on my book, my personal book. I don't know if my, higher power has it on my book. It probably will be in there, and it will come at the right time. Not right now. That I don't think it's the time. The one thing that I'm itching to work with before I decide to hang the boots, I want to go to Mexico City and wrestle at the Arena Mexico. That's one of my goals, my personal goals, because I love lucha libre. I've been there. I've been a fan, and I see how the fans are in there. That's a cathedral of lucha libre. Like, that's what they call it. I definitely, if it's on my other box, is I want to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but that's one of my goals. And I want to go back to Europe, man. I love Europe. I was there for a month, I would say 3 years ago. And I will wrestle the big companies that are there, like, and have wrestled some of the very excellent talent that Europe has. Like, I love traveling. I love meeting new people, and that's one of my things that I want to do again. In Australia, that's one of the other places that I haven't wrestled, and I would love to wrestle there. But other than that, man, like, I pretty much checked every box that I wanted in my personal wrestling goals. And now, in the future, if I'm allowed, I would love to do those personal things, because once you get so like caught up on contracts and companies and stuff like that, you get very limited on what you can do, and that's when you stop enjoying what you're doing, you know. And I even though I'm the NWA champion, I would love, if there's a possibility, to take this championship with me and really defend it everywhere, like it's never been done before. But if not, I'm okay. I can still go to places.
Well, it is the World's Championship, the Women's World's Championship. I mean, we've seen Nicole this all over the world defending this belt, and we've seen champions in decades gone by in the NWA kind of really living up to that World's Champion. So maybe Thunder Rosa gets to defend that belt all across the globe.
I visualize this one. As soon as the things open, I want to go to fucking, I'm sorry, I've been cursing a lot, but I want to go to Mexico City. I don't think, I have to read my books on the NWA Women's Championship. If it was defended in Arena Mexico ever, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I know that I'm pretty sure you're the only non-American, the first non-American to win the title.
No. There's been other non-Americans, but I'm the first Mexican
born. That was the one. That was the stat I'd read.
Yeah,
so you can break down those barriers and go to Arena Mexico and kick some ass.
Oh, I would love to. Like, man. I was just like, those are little things. I'm just like, I visualize that, and I want to really make it happen, but we'll see. But if not, I'm happy to work at AEW, defend it one more time. It's all good.
I'm sure there's another match there with Shida if you really want it. I mean, you girls could put on a great match.
That would be so dope. Like, I mean, like, I'm like, best of 7, cage of death, or cage match, or like Iron Woman match. That's another thing I want to do, is an Iron Woman match for a championship. Yeah. I think you don't see those very often, and it is the right time right now. We got great athletes out there, and like, I saw it wasn't an Ironman, but it was like Deonna Purrazzo and Jordan Grace.
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, it's such an awesome match.
I loved it.
I think which pay-per-view it was, not Bound for Glory. It's such a proper, it looked like they had to work for every single hold. It was just great to watch. Like, those ladies were giving up nothing. Yeah, great storytelling, and I love them. I love working with Jordan Grace. That's one of my favorite people that I because she's so technical. I had never worked with Deonna, but that's another person that I would like to work with, definitely. It's very similar to my style, again. But man, like, I really enjoy that, and I feel like we need more of that on the big stages. You know, yeah. I know that NXT does it from time to time. I mean, we just saw a 30-minute grueling match with Mercedes Martinez and homegirl. What's her name? Remind me of her name. Rhea Ripley in the cage.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I love Mercedes. Like, I worked Mercedes before. She's an excellent worker. But that's the kind of thing I like. I want to see more of that. But again, you know, we got to go with what our bosses say and wait for the opportunity. And when the opportunity is there, we kill it. You know, we kill it, and we want people to be like, we want more.
Yeah. Where can people keep up to date with you and Thunder Rosa? As to where can they see what more is on the horizon?
Thunder Rosa 22. This is all on Twitter. Thunder Rosa 22. Instagram Thunder Rosa 22. My website is thunderrosa.net. YouTube, it's on the works. You guys will be getting a lot of new videos coming up of my 3-4 months that I've been like in a hiatus on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell your friends. I got cool videos there. And also the Patreon is on the works. It should be coming up by November, probably. So, and also if you want to see me wrestle live, you can see our next show is November 6th for Mission Pro Wrestling. You can find our stuff on missionprowrestling.net. Be going live on Title Match Network, and it's gonna be fun, man. Like I said, if I'm not on national TV, I'll be in your guys' timeline with all my booty pictures.
I was expecting that to be thrown out there, but yeah. Okay.
I'm just kidding, y'all. But no, I'm not kidding. You're gonna see some cool pictures coming up, fitness pictures. Yeah, like I'm working on this stuff, and I'm really. I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your platform too. I know we've been
No, thank you for giving up your time to join us.
And all the fans for liking and commenting and sharing. It's very important that you guys do that for us instead of like me saying how wonderful and how great of a wrestler, how great of a woman I am. You're not gonna hear me saying that. If you guys say it, is because you guys believe it, not because I'm telling you to say it. And that's very important, because I'm not trying to get over by saying that I'm the greatest. I'm here. What I'm doing is I want you to feel, as my fans, as my followers, that you feel like you are cared for, and your opinion matters, and when you tell people to like book us, because a lot of the times, a lot of the bookings that happen is because of you guys, because you guys are demanding us to be in a platform. And I am so thankful that you guys have been doing this. Many of you guys have been doing this for many, many years, that you have like open your wallets and given money to promoters to bring us or to bring me to shows. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to travel to many different places, to many different cities, to many different countries. And I don't forget that stuff. Not even if I'm on TV, I will never forget where I come from. And thank you guys again once more.
Brilliant. That's a really nice way to end things. Again, Thunder Rosa, thank you for joining us. If you've liked this, be sure to obviously like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Find us on all the usual podcast platforms. You can follow me at Culture Left Peg on the Twitter. Follow us at WhatCulture WWE on the Twitter. Thunder Rosa, thank you again. And hopefully we will get to chat to you again soon.
Yeah, I'll let you know more about, my fight, my upcoming shows with Mission Pro Wrestling. And again, don't forget to keep supporting women's wrestling, because we're making a change, a huge change.
Brilliant. Thank you again, and thank you for tuning in, and be sure to check back for more content in the next few days and weeks.